Supports Program, in short, CBGSP. The CBGSP is a global project funded by GEF, implemented by UNEP, and executed by the UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center. Its main objective is supporting developing countries in their transition towards the BTR. The project has three components. First, a provision of support to countries in building their capacity for the enhanced transparency framework through in-country support activities, in-person trainings and workshops, webinars, and sharing experience, in addition to review of country transparency reports in order to enhance the quality of submissions to the UNFCCC. The second component is the streamlining of gender considerations in climate reporting. To this end, the gender toolkit that has been developed under the previous project, which is the Global Support Program, is being updated, and support to countries who wish to streamline gender in their reporting will be provided. Last but not least, the Climate Transparency Platform. The platform is a one-stop shop for transparency, covering everything related to the enhanced transparency framework of the Paris Agreement and the continued reporting under the UNFCCC. The platform was launched on the 9th of June 2023 during the SBs in Bonn, and it provides a global overview of transparency initiatives and developing country transparency efforts, allowing users to stay up to date on the latest developments, events, and knowledge products, as well as get detailed information on any developing country, support provider, and transparency projects. The platform also serves as a space for coordination among transparency support providers and for countries to directly request support to cover specific needs for transparency in all areas of the transparency framework. The platform has a dedicated space for different transparency networks, including dedicated network forum spaces to allow for vivid exchange and building communities of practice within the networks and globally. We hope that this platform will be on one of the main building blocks in capacity building for developing countries in their effort to transition to the BTR, and that it will be used and useful for you. My colleagues later will go into detailed presentations on the platform and how, and will show you how you can engage with it. We also very much welcome your feedback for its improvements. At this stage, we are still able to improve the platform and take into account all the feedback that we received from the various stakeholders. So please do not hesitate to let us know how we can further improve it. I wish you a good session and engaging conversations in this webinar. With that, I would like to invite our colleague from GEF, William Holness, to provide us also with his welcoming words on behalf of GEF, who I would like to thank for their continuous engagement and support. Billy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Fatima, Zara, Sheila, Alejandra, Suzanne. It's a pleasure to see you all again and to the overall community of Anglophone Africa. This is the first time that I'm meeting you virtually this time. My name is William Holness. I go by Billy. I recently started working at the Global Environment Facility to manage the overall portfolio of CBIT projects at a global level, including, of course, overseeing and supporting colleagues at the UNFCCC and UNEP and other GEF implementing agencies around the CBIT Global Support Program. And I will be happy to keep engaging with you on the way forward. And I do have some welcoming remarks that have been prepared with our colleagues at the GEF. It is an honor for us to be here today at the session workshops about the functionalities of the climate transparency platform developed by the CBIT Global Support Program, or CBGSP, with support from the Global Environment Facility. This moment, as you know, marks an important milestone in our collective efforts to enhance transparency and promote effective climate action worldwide. The CBGSP represents a merging and continuation of the CBIT Global Coordination Platform and the CBIT Global Support Program, both of which have developed pivotal roles in supporting countries in their transition to the Enhanced Transparency Framework, ETF. The CBGSP is implemented by the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, and executed by UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center, UNEP CCC, as Fatima Saura already mentioned, with timeline extending until 2026. The CBGSP offers streamlined support through various modalities at the global, regional, and national levels. Today, we're thrilled to unveil the functionalities of this new climate transparency platform and expansion of the CBIT Global Coordination Platform and the Global Super Program websites. This platform serves as a comprehensive hub and a one-stop shop for the global climate transparency community, offering the latest events, knowledge products, and overview of transparency project and support providers, and dedicated network pages for South-South exchange and peer learning. To ensure seamless integration, we have conducted demonstration webinars to familiarize users with the functionalities of the platform, as this one. Even though this platform was actually launched in 2023, we're thrilled to walk you through some of the key functionalities and open up the floor to answer any questions or feedback you might have. None of this would be possible without the strong collaboration between CBGSP, the GEF Secretariat, and our esteemed partners. We extend our gratitude to GEF implementing agencies, to UNEP CCC, UNEP CCC, PADPA, ICAT, FAO, and IGES, among others. Their dedication and expertise have been instrumental in delivering the objectives of the CBGSP. As we embark in this new chapter, let us reaffirm our commitment to transparency, collaboration, and knowledge sharing. Together, we can continue to advance climate action, supporting countries in their reporting efforts and build a more sustainable future. Thank you, and I wish you all a fruitful and successful session.
Yeah, thank you so much for those inspiring opening remarks. I would like to invite Susan to walk us through the transparency platform functionalities.
Wasn't the group photo in the Mentimeter before, or before we conclude this session?
So all right, we can switch on our cameras and take some photos. I hope all the participants are with us. Kindly switch on your cameras so we can take a photo. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So we shall run the Mentimeter later. We would like to go to the next session of the platform. Yes.
Sorry, she let us to check. So the initial questions for the Mentimeter, where are they in the agenda now?
Okay.
I think we can just go to the Mentimeter to finish the session and then move on to the introduction of the platform.
So let me share the Mentimeter questions. Yeah. So this is the code. I hope you can see my code. The code for the Menti. I can also put the link in the chat. So I hope you can see the link in the chat. So I'll go to the first question of the Menti. So would like to know where you are joining us from. Where are you joining us from today? Would be glad to know where you are joining us from. Still, the code is on the slide. I hope you can see it. Now, thank you for joining us. I have not seen those that have are joining us from Africa. Thank you for joining us from thank you. I can see we have some from East Africa. We have some from West Africa and Southern Africa. Thank you for joining us. Our next question is about, have you already heard about the new climate transparency platform? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you for registering to the new platform. Thank you. The next question will come at the end of the session. So I would like to invite Susan for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Alejandro will share the slides now, I think.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, if you could just put it in presentation mode, that would be perfect. Perfect. Thanks so much. Yes, hello and welcome to this webinar. Also from my side, many greetings from Copenhagen. My name is Susanne Konrad, and I'm a project officer here at the UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center, working for the CBGSP project that Fatima Sarah has just introduced. Very happy to be having this webinar today, to introduce you to the Climate Transparency Platform and explain about the functionalities and get you acquainted with it. Some of you might have been already at the launch back in June. But today we're going to go a bit deeper, have some exercises as well, and most importantly, also show you the dedicated space of the Anglophone Africa Network. So really looking forward to the session today, and thank you so much for joining. So I'm going to give you a bit of background of the platform, so how it came about. Billy already mentioned a bit, but just a bit more, what the objective is, what the rationale is, and how it came about basically. And then afterwards, Alejandro will give you a proper tour of the platform. So where does the Climate Transparency Platform come from, and what was the rationale for developing it? So the Climate Transparency Platform is basically the product of both the merging and continuation of two previous platforms or websites that were also funded by the GEF, namely the CBIT Global Coordination Platform that you see here on the left, which basically captures all CBIT projects, and then also the website of the Global Support Program for National Communications and BORs that you see on the right, which was implemented by UNDP and UNEP. So the rational objective for developing such a platform is really to provide one go-to place for climate transparency, where information is collected in one place instead of having multiple platforms, and also really to streamline and provide better access to knowledge and information related to climate transparency. So the Climate Transparency Platform therefore even goes beyond the CBIT platform and the previous GSP website, and basically expands it to really provide a one-stop shop for transparency, as we call it, for the whole climate transparency community. So here on this slide, you can see the kind of 5 key functionalities of the platform that were defined in the project development stage, which include firstly, we have transparency projects, including CBIT and image projects, but also going beyond that. So all projects from ICAT, PATBAR, and all other agencies and support providers who are in the space of transparency. Secondly, also to have country profiles with information on their transparency reporting, their national projects. So also like how many NCs and BORs have they been submitted going forward, also how many BTRs, to really have this information stored in a country profile and a dedicated country profile. Thirdly, and very importantly, to have a library of knowledge resources again, with the objective to centralize knowledge, to have one go-to place for publications and knowledge resources on climate transparency. And fourthly, to provide a forum and a place for exchange, discussions, and peer learning. We really saw a need for that, which we don't really have in other platforms right now. And lastly, also to provide a place for requesting support. So these were the key functionalities that were originally defined in the project proposal. And then in the development process of the platform, we've also consulted with different stakeholders to basically get feedback on these functionalities, to further define them, refine them, and also to get a better understanding of the key needs of such a platform, and also to identify additional features that were not initially covered. Yes, and on the next slide, you can see the development process of the platform. So we have been starting the design of the platform at the end of last year and have been quite busy for the first half of the year and developing with our developers. As Fatima Sarah said, it was launched during the SBs in June. And even though it's launched, we are still doing further refinements, further smaller development. So it's still an ongoing project. And as she also said, we were always welcome to hear any feedback, any suggestions, your comments. That would be more than welcome. Yes, on the next slide, you can see the key functionalities that we have in the platform now, basically building on the initial functionalities in the project proposal. I won't go in detail here because it's better to see it directly in the platform, which Alejandro will do shortly. But this is just to give you an overview of what the platform provides, so to say. And on the next slide, what we really want to highlight is really that, the aim of the platform is to be a platform for and by the climate transparency community. So everyone in the climate transparency community, from project managers, agencies, countries, really has a part to play in making this a useful place for everyone, keep information updated, engage in discussions, and keeping the platform alive, essentially. So it's so we really see it as a shared responsibility among all in the community. And we were very much looking forward to building this together with you. And as I said, please always reach out to us if you have comments, questions, input. We always here to.
I haven't seen it. I'm just seeing it.
My first time I'm seeing it. And Eric didn't also share this with us. You see, even
Eric's office, that's successful.
yes.
Please, colleagues, mute yourselves.
Please kindly mute yourself. Yes, thank you. Yes, and the last slide is just to point out that there are different user profiles on the platform, which you've probably also seen when you have registered yourself. And these different user profiles, such as project managers or country focal points, they have different editing rights in the platform, and we're going to explain more about it in a session later. So there are certain users who can edit certain parts in the platform, but there are of course also the normal users of the platform who can also engage in the forums, use the platform, navigate it, and so every user in the platform is equally important, and we welcome everyone, of course. And yes, so that was just a quick glimpse of the background of the platform, but Alejandro will now walk you through the actual platform, which will be more interesting than a PowerPoint presentation. Over to you, Alejandro.
Thank you, Susanna, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Let me just go to the platform real quick so that I can share my screen and share the demonstration with you. The first thing that I would like to mention, in line with what Susanna was mentioning, is that this platform is not supposed to be a static space where you can just look at where you just look at information, but we want it to be a dynamic space where you can come regularly, where you can add wherever there is any events related to transparency, any new updates, any flagship reports or publications that your association or organization may have released, any doubts, questions, updates. Everything is welcome here in the platform. I'm going to go quickly through the main areas of the platform just so you can familiarize yourselves, but I can say that the best way to get acquainted with it is to test it. So if you haven't registered already, please do so. There is a button here to register. If I log out, you will see register here. It's a very easy registration, and if you have any trouble or any problems, we are always welcome and available to help you. So without further ado, let's start with the first page. This is the home page, as you can see it, and this is where you can access some of the key at a glance information of different transparency related information that is useful for you. This is also, for example, the way I use it is as a way to find quick links and quick parts of the platform, special information, specific information that I need to find. This is where you can find it. We have developed 5 interactive maps. They are all showing different kind of information, and they are all useful for you to, like I was saying, access specific information in a short amount of time, or link to different parts of the website in 1 or 2 links. The first map, as you can see, is the transparency overview map. And what this map is showing is what is the spread of active transparency projects worldwide. We are right now having different projects by different support providers and different agencies, Jeff agencies, and non-other transparency agencies. You can see them all around here. And you can filter, for example, you can see how many some transparency projects does UNEP have in its pipeline right now. And this is useful for you to see what is the spread, what is every country working on. And as more agencies start inputting information here, the more complete will be this map. For example, our colleagues from ICAT and PATPA and other agencies will slowly but surely start inputting all their project pipelines into the platform, and then you can have a complete view of what is happening in this country, for example, in each country. For example, if we clicked on Argentina, we can see all the active transparency projects being, and we can see that currently they have 3 Jeff enabling activities. We can even see the spread of who is implementing these activities, and who, for example, 1 CBIT project and 1 Jeff enabling activity by UNEP. The next map is similar to this, is a spread of the CBIT projects worldwide divided by their status and the agency that is implementing each project. Here you can see this view and the different status of each project. Likewise, to the other map, you can filter, for example, what is the amount of FAO projects worldwide, CBIT projects in this case. And this is also a quick link to the CBIT project in each country. For example, if I click to South Africa, I would have a direct link to the CBIT South Africa project and its status, so I can just go to the project quickly if I need to look at specific information about the project. The next map is the map of Jeff enabling activities, and similar to the CBIT projects map, it's showing the amount of Jeff enabling activities worldwide. We can see that the map can be filtered by all the different Jeff enabling activity projects that are ongoing. And if we click on each country, we can see what projects and what associated reports are being implemented throughout each project. This is also a quick link. For example, if we wanted to go to the enabling activity that is developing the 2nd national communications for Argentina. The next map is a map of UNFCCC reporting, and you can see on different categories, NCs, BURs, BTRs, and adaptation communications, what is the status of update worldwide, how many of these reports different countries have. For example, if we click and we filtered by national communications, we can have the amount of national communications that are submitted in each country worldwide. The darker the color is, it means that there are more national communications that have been submitted. Just to show a comparison, we can see, for example, here, Brazil has submitted 4 national communications, whereas Algeria has submitted 2 national communications. And the last map that I want to show you is the map of the transparency networks that are operating within the CBIT GSP project and are also highlighted here, and we will go through them in the demonstration of the platform. Here you can see the 10 different networks that are active. color coordinated so that you can see all the countries that belong to one network. There are some cases of countries that are in various networks. For example, Algeria is both in the MENA network and in the Francophone Africa network. This map also offers you a quick link to click on each network. For example, here with the Anglophone Africa, you can see the direct link to the Anglophone Africa network, as well as a direct link to the country profile of Namibia in this case. Apart from the information you can find in these maps, there is other at a glance information that can be viewed in the homepage. The first one would be the news and events, and this is where featured news and events are going to appear at first. Of course, you can always check all the list of active events and upcoming events that are happening within the transparency community over here in news and events, in clicking on this button. But we normally, as new events are coming, are featuring these events so that you can find them easily in the homepage. You can see here some of the first, some of the events that are featured, and this is constantly updated so that you can have the latest information. Likewise, you can have the same sort of information with upcoming publications and flagship publications in the Knowledge Center. You can see here all the different capacity needs assessment report, results analysis, and these are uploaded to the news and events section, to the Knowledge Center section. And the featured publications can be found here in the homepage with a very little effort from your part. Apart from here, there are some interactive banners where you can click if you want to explore the Knowledge Center, or if you want to stay in touch with the latest events, for example. There is an opportunity to view all this content. I see that there are some hands up. If I will finish this session quickly, and then we can have some Q&A after before we move to the next session. So if we move on, we can see here some quick information about the Climate Transparency Platform and what is its objective, its goal, and what it is about. Likewise, here is some page for the CBGSP project, where you can see different informations that may be useful for you if you are a part of the CBGSP project, or if you are working with us within the scope of the project. You can see, for example, here the results of the CBGSP project so far. This is also something that we update regularly so that you can have a glance of the activities and the scope of activities and the degree of advancement we have. The next area that you will be using quite often, I would say, is the transparency networks. This area will be explored more in detail with Sheila during her session, but I just want to show you very quickly that there is a landing page for all the transparency networks where you can get an overview and some key information of what these networks are about and what are their objectives and their scope. You have here, again, the map of the 10 different networks and contact information for the regional network coordinators. We can see here that we are only missing under recruitment of 2 networks. This is a process that is actually in progress, and we will have coordinators for these regions too. But if you need to contact any of the network coordinators, and in this case specifically Sheila, her contact information is here, and the click to the specific network page is also here, which Sheila will talk you more about. You can also add access in the CBGSP, in the Climate Transparency Platform, specific space for country information. We call it a country profile, and this is something that it was not available in the previous CBIT platform. It's a new space that we have created so that there is in one single space all the relevant transparency information and contact points that you may need on country level. If we look at Argentina, for example, we can click on the country profile, and you will see all the areas that the country profile has. We can see here some key information about the state of their submissions to UNFCCC. And this is a space for highlighted and featured news and events that Argentina focal points may have. You also have the contact information for focal points in Argentina, and there is such a space for all countries within the Climate Transparency Platform, so that you can, so that you know who to contact, and in terms of what there are specific thematic focal points that you can contact. There are UNFCCC focal points, and there are JEF focal points. Apart from this, there is the relevant country transparency information. What you can see here is some key deadlines on where what's ratified with the UNFCCC, the Kyoto Protocol, and the Paris Agreement, as well as some key transparency information and national climate documents. These are updated, and if they are not updated in some countries, they will be updated by us, by the network coordinators, and by the nominated country focal points of each country. The concept Susanna had mentioned of shared responsibility in keeping the platform alive and updated is key for the well-functioning of the climate transparency platform. There is also a space for documents that are not official documents submitted to UNFCCC. We always normally put the same example. For example, Vietnam has no long-term strategy submitted to UNFCCC, but they do have a 2050 net zero national level document. These kind of documents and other relevant sectoral and national level documents can also be uploaded here by the appointed country focal points. A part of this, we also have the spread of projects that are active in Argentina so that users can access this quite easily, and some space to reflect the results of self-assessments that countries have done in the previous phase of the CBIT project. Going on to specific project level, we can see here the landing page where you can find all the projects. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of active projects within the climate transparency platform. You can filter all of this. You can filter this list if you're looking for projects on a specific region, a specific country. If you want to look at the countries of the projects that are happening in the Anglophone Africa Network only, for example, or if you're looking for a specific type of project. In this case, we can filter, for example, going to the filtering and filter by CBIT projects, and we can see, check on the project profile of the CBIT Liberia project. This is a project that already has been concluded, but you can see the main areas that are in this project page. This is also a legacy from the previous CBIT platform, so it looks quite similar, but we have updated and we have added the possibility to add other extra important information for the project. For example, the project details. If there is an active focal point in a project, the focal point information will be here, a picture, a name, and email, as well as which agency is implementing and executing the project. There is also the list of indicators of the project that are based on the project documents, as well as the degree of project implementation, how is the project advancing, and what are the main activities in each project. Apart from this, there is a specific space to put project news and events that each CBIT project or Jeff enabling activity may have, as well as key project documents that you may want to add to the page for availability for its users or for the partners to access. It is important to mention in relation to this that project documents functions a bit differently to the Knowledge Center. So we expect that in each project page, only the project-specific documents should be added, like the TORs, the specific deliverables, progress reports, etc. If a project or an agency has a specific flagship publication or a knowledge product, it would be published in the Knowledge Center instead of in the project page. The next area that we can see is the area for agencies and initiatives, where we can see all the different agencies that are collaborating with us within the climate transparency platform, and with some specific space where you can contact and you can get information on how to access support. For example, here we can see on the CAREC agency page, a little bit of an overview of the page, as well as featured events, specific information on how to access support, and news and events, knowledge products, and the list of projects within the agency. There is also a space for experts, nominated experts that are legacy from the previous GSP platform. You can filter these experts by expertise and by country, and you can access their contact information and their profile. If any of if you have any contact or you yourselves want to become an expert and be featured in the climate transparency platform, please send us an email. It's appearing here in the platform, and then we can set up a profile and include you as an expert. There is also the area for the news and events, which is kind of self-explanatory. This is where you can see all the upcoming and past news and events that are registered in the platform. Different people can add these events, for example, us as the administrative team, but also project managers, country representatives, agency focal points, etc. All of these people are constantly updating the news and events section. Similarly, as in other parts of the platform, there is a filter function where you can search and you can find, for example, if you're only interested in looking at events, you can filter by events, and this will be shown. And you can find events from different transparency networks, different type of events, if it was a conference or a training or a webinar, different languages, agencies, etc. There's also the Knowledge Center, which is very similar to the News and Events section. And this is where you can see all the publications that are uploaded to the Climate Transparency platform. And it has many different kind of interesting publications that you can see here, whether there are guidelines and tools, or scientific publications, recordings and podcasts, reports and briefs, and SB and COP decisions. All of these kind of documents can be found here. If you have any additions, you're more than welcome to either upload one yourself if you are a content editor, or to contact us or the network coordinators or any project focal point or agency focal point to update a specific document. Lastly, some of the last parts of the platform before I give the word to Sheila would be the request for support, which is the area where you can use specific templates that we have developed to request different kinds of support, whether you need for the submission of an upcoming report or specific support with a project. All can be found here. You can download the request for support template in different languages and afterwards send it to us, which we will evaluate and share with all different support providers that work with the Climate Transparency platform. And you have here a window where you can look at the status of the request that you have provided us, when has it been assigned, or who will take care of this request for support. Lastly, we have a page for opportunities, where if you need to post or update any calls for consultants or any advertisement project related, it can be done here. You can see here some of the last opportunities that have been posted. The last space is the communities of practice, and this is one of the interactive space that we want you to be using, and we want to. This is where we're going to share a lot of communication and information with you. It's some sort of overall forum space where you users and registered users can collaborate and can participate in different topics. We can see here that we have different networks and different forums, for example, for the CBGSP networks or for thematic communities of practice. Also, for example, if there is specific information that you want to share in the upcoming Africa Climate Week, it can also be shared here. There can also be a forum set up and different discussions can be had, or updates about the specific events, or news and frequently asked questions about a specific topic. This has been a brief explanation of the Climate Transparency platform. I hope this has been clear, and of course, we are always welcome to solve any doubts and to do further introductions to this, so that you feel familiar with the platform, so that you know where to access the different informations. You're more than welcome. The best way to try to get acquainted is to try it. So this is what we have developed for you, and I hope that this is useful for you, because this is the ultimate objective, right? That this is a useful platform for all of us, where we can communicate and we can have meaningful discussions regarding transparency. So this said, I will give the word to Sheila please go ahead. I will also stop sharing my screen and you can share your screen and go more in detail about the networks.
Okay, thank you so much for taking us through the different dedicated workspaces. I will share my screen where I'll just go right away to the networks. I hope you can see my screen. Yes, so I'll go to the networks, whereby from the networks, I'll straight away look at how some of these areas in the networks had already been explained. But to just show you that when you go to the network, you can just click Anglophone Africa to get some of the areas that are dedicated for Africa, the workspace for Africa. And there you will see many featured elements, especially for upcoming events and also in-country activities and also forum. And for today, we have a topic for discussion for today. I hope most of you have already registered. Maybe we need to first know that you have registered so that it becomes more interesting in participating in the forum, because if you are not registered, it might be difficult for you to participate in the discussion forum for the day. So for instance, we have a topic for today where we are discussing about the climate transparency platform. And in this we are asking how do you find it convenient in terms of user friendliness? If you have any questions or requests for support, can you feel that you can easily go through and request for support? And then has your country pages been updated, and does all the information reflect the latest developments in climate reporting and transparency projects? There's some question that was in the chat about clicking in South Africa. I was able to share that you can click on any country, Ghana and all the other countries. You can easily view what information has been uploaded on their fora. And you can also click on, I put also a link, you can try to click and see what you can see. So from here, maybe I can log out so I can be able to take you through registration. So if you need to register, you come here on this page, you put your name, your first name, then you select gender, your last name, then gender. As you can see, this for this where you find this star, you have to put information, and then your email address, and then username. Yes, username. As you can see, instructions. You are not supposed to use some of these characters that are mentioned here, and then a password. And you have to select a country and also the network where you are located. But to just maybe highlight a bit, because we saw some of the registration whereby some members had registered under different designations. So from the nominations that we received, most of you were given thematic areas, and some were nominated as the focal points for the CBIT Global Support Program focal points. So kindly take care to ensure that you click the right button here so that you do not take in a role that you were not nominated for, because we might need to cross-check before we can approve the registration in the system. So I'm kindly requesting that you take care of that so that we are able to register under the right designations, because those who will be these named here, the named designations will be part of the content editors. So that's why we are emphasizing that. So if I can go back to networks. you'll find that most of the information had been talked about. You'll find that even within Anglophone Africa Network, when you enter, you are able to see the in-country activities. For instance, we have some in-country activities that are upcoming for Malawi. We have one in Eswatini. So all these have been able to send in requests, and then we update the in-country activities on the forum. So it's very important that you could be you could also familiarize yourself with what is going on in other countries, and maybe we could come up with a good harmonized way of supporting capacities, especially where countries can do some peer learning from what capacities have been received in other countries. I think that is very important. And then within the network space, we have also have events. So within the events, we are going to start including in some of the in-country events. For example, they had mentioned the African Climate Week, but also within the different countries under here, we have an opportunity where we shall be updating some of the countries that are ongoing in the different countries, so that we can know how different countries are progressing in transparency reporting and also implementing some of the initiatives. So within country forum, I think if we can just, for instance, search for a country, like maybe someone had mentioned South Africa, you are able to view some of the country profile for South Africa, yeah, from here. So like it was already mentioned, I think you are able to see how they are progressing on the different elements, for instance, of the different transparency initiatives. And then also under here, we have already input information on the national focal points, but we are missing photos for almost all of you. So I will request that if you check on the website, I will be sending out an email in this regard so that we can make it more interactive and attach faces to the names. I will be requesting for the photos so that we can also include photos in some of these names. And then where some of the projects are ongoing and we need to update, we shall also be including that information. And then when it comes to information on the reporting, as you can see, it gives a clear summary on what the country has been, how the country has been reporting over the years. As you can see, some of the country reports, but like it was mentioned by by my colleague, that we can also include in other very important country national reports, like maybe the Climate Change Act and other reports here for easy access as a one-stop for all the information. And this information on self-assessment was picked from the previous global platform. And we hope that this platform, under this platform, we shall also be updating it with time to be able to come up with the most current self-assessment. So maybe without taking much of the time, there's when you go to click to the forum, I expect now that you are able to participate in the discussion for today, the topic for today. I will request that for those who have already registered, you can take on the discussion. And going forward, we shall also be using a lot of this forum to interact more. We have been using email, but most of the announcements will now be on the forum, and we hope that we shall be more interactive than just coming to pick information, but it can also be somewhere where we exchange information within the forum. So without taking much of your time, I would like to request that for those who have been able to register, we can try and see if we are able to be part of today's discussion and test that under the forum. Are we able to access the forum? Maybe you can use the chat to show if you are able to access the forum through the network platform.
Thank you, Sheila. I can see that there are already some questions that are happening. The first one is by Irene, that it doesn't allow your existing email. And this is a good question and important to note, because this will happen to many of you. It will happen to all of you that were already registered in the previous CBIT platform. So what we have done to create this new platform, we have carried out a lot of the content that is currently available in the CBIT platform. In the future, what is going to happen is that the CBIT platform is going to be discontinued, and the GSP platform is also going to be discontinued. You will only be able to access this platform, the Climate Transparency platform, and we have been able to carry over much of the key content on the previous platform. So if you use the previous login, Irene, that you had in the CBIT platform, your login should work, and you should be able to enter without a problem. However, if you still have issues using the credentials that you had for the CBIT platform, let us know, and we will help you navigate any problems with the registration. We also have some question that by David, meaning that saying that registered but cannot log in. This is because, David, you must have registered as a content editor. Just to clarify, are you a CBIT project manager or a Jeff Enabling Activity project manager, or maybe one of the appointed country representatives? This is because all the people that register in one of these roles that have content editing responsibilities will have to be checked by us before we can activate the account. What we do is look at the request for registration and then double check with Sheila or with each network coordinator, and double check with the country representatives or the agencies depending on each case. Once your registration, your account has been cleared, we send you a second email welcoming you to the platform, and you can use your profile. So I hope that this is helpful. If there is already, try to register. If you have any other questions or any other problems, we can try to solve them now in these sessions as they happen. Also, just to echo what Sheila was saying, most of the key communications are going to start happening through the Climate Transparency platform and not through emails, because we want the Climate Transparency platform to be the main space where we communicate and where other users can also learn from the same experience. For example, Sheila has shown you this forum within the Anglophone Africa Network and different conversations within the forum. One of those conversations is focused. This one that Sheila is sharing right now through her screen. This forum is also for questions and problems that you may be having in the Climate Transparency platform. So if you are navigating and you have any problems, either with you are not able to edit certain information, you are not able to see any information, you go to a specific country profile and realize that the latest NDC is not updated, that there is some data that is not updated, you're more than welcome to write it here in the forum so we can all pick it up and correct and also communicate with you, teach you and show you how to solve some of these problems or how and where you can access this information.
Thank you. But also, if you are interested in any discussion topic that you feel that we can put up for discussion, kindly always reach out to us, and then we can discuss and we can post it for discussion. Thank you. So I will hand over. I will also open this session for questions and comments on the forum and also on the platform. What ideas do you have? What do you think is missing as that you can improve in the platform? So this is the session, the way you can share with us what you feel about what we have just shared with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. And the same, if you have any questions, now is the time. Feel free to unmute yourselves or write any comments. After this questions Q&A session, we will finish the Mentimeter. Sheila will finish the Mentimeter with some of the last questions that are pending. And then for the last moments of this session, I will do a short practical session for content editors. You're more than welcome to stay. And this session will be fully interactive. So if any of you are country representatives or project focal points, you're more than welcome to participate, unmute, and we will go together through some of the processes so that you can know how to edit the key content in the platform.
Thank you. So if we do not have okay, I can see something in the chat. After registering, I'm sure we shall be interacting on the platform. No question for now. Okay, thank you, Irene, for that. So if we do not have the next, I will share. Okay, someone is saying they have just registered now. How long will it take for me to be admitted? I think someone is on standby. If you have put in the right information, they will be able to admit you. Thank you. But like I mentioned, if you find some delays, maybe they would be between confirming some of the areas, especially the designation, so that we don't have double entries of the same position in the same country. So that's why somehow it might take some time, but it shouldn't really be a long time. Yeah, thank you. So if we do not have any other comments, I will still share the last part of the Menti. How do I know that I am admitted? I think Alejandro, you can answer that question. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Selma. I think if you have finished the registration, you will both get an email confirming that you have registered, and also you can just simply access the climate transparency platform. So in the same space where there was the button to register, you should now, if you have registered already, you should see a button that says log in or log out. That will indicate you that you can log in, and if you have logged in, that you can indeed visit the platform. But the clearest indication that you are admitted and that you are logged in is that you can go to the forum, Anglophone Africa Forum, and answer to some of the posts that Sheila has included in the forum.
So I will present the last part of the Menti about how satisfied you feel about this webinar, and then we shall go to the last session. So the Menti code is still the same. I can also put it in the chat. Let us know how.
I see one question about Cabello. Sorry, Sheila. If the platform is particular to the CIVIT project, or we can also include the issues of NDC tracking under national communications. Yes, the climate transparency platform is global and is multiple agencies involved. So it surely is not only dedicated to CIVIT projects, it's wider, and you are welcome to include these issues via in the communities of practice, in the networks, or in the country page where you can register the NDC track, the issues of NDC tracking. Thank you.
So how satisfied are you with this webinar? I can see we are 40, so I would expect that we get your views, because this helps us to improve and do better in the next webinars. Thank you. The code is 85227827. I'll give it more minutes. I can see 7 people. I would request that you fill this, because this feedback is very important for us.
She said you don't send them unexpected. You send them, you tell them, and tell them to.
So thank you for the feedback on the Menti. I can see we have got 9. Thank you, but you can still continue on the Menti as we go to the next session, because it's very important. The next session is about those who will be directly be the content editors. Someone is saying the network is dropping. So the content editors, we are requesting that you can stay for another session where you will be taken through how you can edit some of the information posts in the news and events. So you are welcome to stay. So I will hand over the next session to Alejandro for that session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Let me just, you can share my screen. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Perfect. Well, this last session for today is focused on giving an introduction and step-by-step guidance to the content editors of the Climate Transparency Platform. There are different content editors. Let me just go back to the second. There are different users in the Climate Transparency Platform, as Susanna mentioned earlier, and these have different nature and different responsibility. In this session, we're going to be focusing on the content editors. As you can see, there are already 5 different kinds of content editors, including, of course, the CIVIT GSP admin team and the CIVIT GSP network coordinators. We're going to be focusing on your side now, which is the project managers and focal points, the nominated country representatives, and the transparency agencies and initiatives. The first that we're going to be focusing on is the nominated country focal points under the CIVIT GSP. The nominated country representatives can either be CIVIT GSP nominated focal points. They can also be thematic focal points, for example, for GHG inventory, NDC mitigation, adaptation, loss and damage, and support. There is a general focal point appointed by the CIVIT GSP project, and there will also be UNFCCC focal points, as well as as well as GEF focal points. Apart from this, other agencies may also have different country focal points that they work with. For example, the country focal point for South Africa may be different with UNDP than with FAO. So all of these focal points will be reflected in each country page and will have a content editing profile. We have already seen from some of you and some of your comments that there are already a few of content editors here. So I'm glad to hear that. And the focus and what we want from this session is already almost have a discussion with you and go through some of the editing process with you. So just to make sure that you understand it and that that you can see the step-by-step process on how to edit certain parts of the platform. Regarding the nominated country focal points, as a nominated country focal point, the users can edit all the relevant country information that we have seen in the country pages in the previous session. For example, the country transparency information and the key documents such as NCs, BURs, BTRs, and adaptation communications, as well as the national submissions like the NDC, NAPs, and LTLEDs. They can also add the contact information of other country focal points. And additionally, these users can also upload relevant country-related documents, such as results of the self-assessment or other specific national level documents, past and upcoming events, relevant knowledge products, and post opportunities and calls for consultants whenever the need arises. The next user role that we are highlighting here is the role of the project manager. There can be different project managers, whether for CBIT projects or for JEF enabling activities. And there will also be contact points for other transparency agencies and initiatives, for example, ICAT focal points. In this case, for this slide, we're only focusing on the project manager for CBIT projects and JEF enabling activities, because these two roles will have the most, some of the most responsibilities on content editing. Project managers and focal points can, like I said, be either focal points for specific CBIT project or JEF enabling activity, for example, a BUR project in Vietnam or a CBIT project in South Africa. As the main focal point and as the main point of contact of the project, these users are responsible to edit and keep updated all the relevant project-related information that we showed before. For example, the indicators, the status of implementation, key information and figures, etc. Additionally, these users can also upload relevant project-related documents, such as TORs, deliverables, etc. Post past and upcoming events, relevant knowledge products, and posting opportunities and calls for consultants as well whenever the need arises. And the last user role that we are highlighting in this session is the role of the agency focal point. These are colleagues that are appointed by each of the agencies to appear as agency focal points in the agency profile that we have shown before. In this example here, we have Oksana Kravtsova as a focal point for CAREC. These agency focal points. Oh, sorry, I must have missed something. You cannot see my presentation anymore, right?
We cannot see.
Just a second.
No.
Sharing again. All right. Can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
So this last user role is the agency focal point, as I was mentioning. The responsible and the focal point of each agency is responsible for keeping updated and editing all the relevant information present in the agency focal point, especially the key information, the contact information, how to access support, and making sure that flagship knowledge products of each agency are over there in the agency page, as well as upcoming events and project pipeline. One last thing before I go back to the practical exercises and and demonstration is that as a content editor, your main role will be to ensure that your page, whether it's a country page or a project page or an agency page, is complete and it has up-to-date information, relevant documents, and upcoming and past events, as well as calls for consultants and other opportunities. You will not be the only one responsible for this. You will do this also in collaboration with the CBGSP network coordinators and ourselves as the admin team. As I and Susanna have mentioned in the past, the concept of shared responsibility is very important to keep the platform updated and alive. And as much as we have the general overview of the platform and all the projects that are appearing in it, you as country focal points or project focal points will have the most up-to-date and specific information of the project or the country. So your help is indispensable for these pages to be updated. In this, we will be in constant communication. We will regularly get in touch with you to ask you for specific updates and to support you in your task of keeping these pages updated. Right now, we have developed a user guideline, a user manual with step-by-step information on all of these editing processes that you will have to do as different content editors of the platform. And right now, what we're going to do is I'm gonna go with you through some of these editing tasks that you have to do and that you will be responsible for. We're gonna go step by step through some of these examples and some of these tasks so that you can you know how to do them in the future, at least so that you get familiar with it. So while I stop with the presentation and I go to the climate transparency platform, let me ask you, you can either say yes, unmute and say yes, or raise your hands, but how many content editors we have with us right now? Either CBIT managers or Jeff enabling activity managers or country representatives and focal points. Right, we already can see some hands up. This is good. Thank you. Feel free to unmute yourself if you are a country focal point or an agency focal point or perhaps both. You can let us know. You can tell us. Thank you all. We can see that we have already a few here with us, so hopefully this will be helpful for you. Let me share my screen so that we can see the climate transparency platform once again. Let's go back to the main page. This is the home page. Here is what I meant. If you are not registered or you are not logged in, you will see register here. But now I am logged in, so I can see the option to log out of my profile, and I can see the option to see my dashboard. The dashboard is, as a content editor and as a user, the dashboard is one of the most important parts of the platform. Is your one-stop place where you can have an overview of all the content you can edit. Let's click on my dashboard, and you can see I have here a million boxes because as a member of the admin team, we need to have control of many areas of the platform. But depending on your role, you will have you will have some more or less of these boxes. For example, if you are an agency focal point for FAO, for example, you will have this button here, Manage Agency, where you can see your FAO profile and you can edit accordingly. If you are a CBIT project manager, for example, you will find several buttons that you are available to click and edit. One would be the CBIT project management, where you can find the CBIT project you are a manager of, and where you can then click to the CBIT project and do any editing that is necessary. You can also find manage news, manage events, and manage opportunities, which is the shortcut that you will use to add or edit an event, a piece of news, a call for consultant, add a knowledge product, etc. And this is going to be similar if you are a country focal point. you will have the Manage Countries option, where you can click on the country that you are a focal point of, and you can therefore edit accordingly. One thing to say is that, for example, myself, if I click on Manage Countries, I can see all the countries that are in the platform right now, right? But this will not be the case for you. That's why we ask so many questions in the registration. Say that you register as a country focal point, and you have put before that you are from South Africa. You will only find the South Africa profile here. Let's go back to the dashboard. And now we're going to do a series of step-by-step exercises. You're more than welcome to unmute yourselves. You are more than welcome to write or to ask any question if you need more clarification. I will be asking you some things around at the same time. If you have a thought or you want to know how to do some of these exercises, feel free to answer. This is just informal and for us to learn to use the platform together. So the first thing that we're going to go through is to edit specific information in a country profile. Let's go, for example, to the South Africa country profile. I can do several things. I could go here to countries or to the map where I have shown you before and find the South Africa country profile. But as an editor, I have just I am used to do everything through my dashboard, because that way everything is in the same place. It's easier for me to find, and it's easier for me to know where to change each of the areas. In this case, I will go to Manage Countries, find South Africa. We can find it here, and you see I have the option here to edit. Let's say that I want to add a new report. Here we have all the different areas that I have shown you before in the country page, but this is the other side. This is the editing side. You can see this is how it's viewed, all the different areas that I have shown before. But when you are editing, you see the same information through the other side, through the backend, where you can change the relevant information if it needs to be updated or if it needs to be changed. We have here, for example, the ratification deadline dates, the region here. We have not included it, so we would include Africa as a region. And let's say that I want to change some of these reports. For example, a new NDC. I would go here to National Climate Document submitted to UNFCCC. And we have here everything that is inputted so far for South Africa profile. We have the NDC with a link to the UNFCCC page and the year that it was published. We also have the NAP and an LT-LEDs that have been uploaded to the profile. Now, this climate document, this NDC, is year 2016. But before this webinar, I have found that South Africa has its updated NDC updated in September 2021. And I want to update this in the South Africa country profile. All I have to do would be within the NDC, clicking on Add Climate Document, link the page that I want to show. In this case, the link to the South Africa updated NDC, and paste the link here. Then in the year, it was 2021 when it was updated, so I would include 2021. And before I close this, so that the change will be featured and will be saved, I have to save. Now we can see that the country profile of South Africa has been updated. And if we go to the country transparency information, we see that there is now a new entry on the country profile with 2021 as the latest updated document. This is it for updating information in the country profile. You can look at all the other areas in the country profile if you need to update a focal point, if you need to input another sectoral or national document, or if you need to update the self-assessment. I see one question, Maleloa. You want to unmute yourself?
Yes, no, thank you so much. I'm from Lesotho, and I just wanted to find out if there is no one amongst the team. I can see that we have different, GAG mitigation focal point and adaptation focal point, shouldn't we have someone who approves anything that, you know, this thematic area, like thematic area focal points, whatever they post, that should be at least be approved by someone? Because I can think of a time when I think I've put the right information, but then the country focal point or the CBIT focal point thinks that that is not the correct information. So shouldn't we be having someone who will be able to approve the country, the overall country information? Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for the question. There is a way that these focal points are appointed. This is all through work between the CBIT GSP project, through us and through Sheila, that is in contact with the government, and then appointing and finding the specific type of focal points. In case of conflicting information, in the case that one of these focal points and a CBIT project manager, for example, had different information, this would have to be discussed. It would have to we would have to be reached out with this information, and then Sheila will intercede and will share this with the official focal points, whether it's UNFCCC or country focal points, so that they will either update the information or in the country profile or in the CBIT profile or add the correct information. Are there any other questions? So far? All right, if there are no further questions so far, we can continue. Let us go back to the dashboard. And let's say now we want to change some key information on the CBIT South Africa project. Does anyone here want to try to say what they would do in this situation, looking at my dashboard? Anyone want to try to take a look at this? No volunteers? All right, we have no one yet. But in this case, what we would have to do if we want to edit a CBIT project would be to go to CBIT Project Management. We can search for South Africa here. And find the CBIT project for South Africa. Here is very similar as the country profile, where you have the different project details, indicators, implementation, project events, news, and documents. Say that we needed to change the start date of a specific project or change the status of the CBIT project. It would be just as simple as changing the information that is here available. The project scope for the CBIT South Africa is a national scope, so we would keep it like that. And, for example, add a transparency network if the transparency network is not included here, if we needed to change which agency is implementing it, etc. Then we would save the change and it will be reflected here. The CBIT project for South Africa has been updated. We have a link here so that we can see all the different changes that have been made. Anyone wants to say what to do or where would they go if they want to add an event here within the platform? Anyone wants to take a go? I think you have already seen how to do it, perhaps. David, I see you unmuted yourself. Is it
Yes.
Is it because you want to say
It's
something?
ready to speak, yeah.
Yes, okay. For me, I am a thematic
area editor. So if I want to add an event, I go to my my profile, and then there's a dashboard, and on the dashboard I see there is a folder called manage events.
Exactly.
Yes, there's a profile there is a folder called manage events. So I go ahead and click on that.
Exactly.
Yes,
Thank you, David.
I can add event from the folder.
Exactly. Thank
there
you.
is another button that say add events, so I can click on that button, add events, and then I'm able to add an event using the link or the actual document.
Exactly. Thank you. There is one very important detail that I need to mention, and this is general for all the different content that you create and you edit. And it has happened, trust, it has happened to me, it has happened to all of us before, and it will likely happen to you. So say that you create an event like David, just following the steps that David was mentioning, you want to create an event. So you fill in all this data, mandatory and non-mandatory information, and then you click save. But then you cannot see the event. You cannot see the event in the country profile, you cannot see the event in the project profile, or you cannot see the event in the network page, or even in your dashboard. What happened with it? In most of these cases, it is because there is a small button here that it may not be the most user-friendly thing, but it's something that you always have to find. Before you save your progress, there is a button here that says published. You need to click on published so that it will be visible in the climate transparency platform. Otherwise, you are creating an event that still has valid information, that is still there for you. You can still edit, but it's not published. It's not visible for other users. So as common practice, it's always important to click on published and make sure that this is clicked before you save on an event, on news, or on any change within the platform. I think this has been a general overview that that we have given for these content editors. Like I said, we are developing a document, a step-by-step guidance document that will be shared with you shortly after these webinars, and that has step-by-step information and of further context and guidance for the climate transparency platform. It expands, for example, on the different user roles that are available. What is its role? What are the objectives of this role, of its role, and what can be expected of you as a content editor, as a project manager, or as a country representative, etc. And apart from that, it has step-to-step guidance on all of these editing processes that I have shown you right now. So with this, I think there is not much more that I can show you. The managed events we have seen, and likewise, there is manage opportunity buttons, manage news that would follow a very similar process as the ones we have seen. You have here, you say you need, and you need a new call for consultants because you need an MRB expert in South Africa. You would add opportunities and you would follow the specific data that you need to convey. If you need to link to any country, any government link, or if you need to add any PDF with extra information, it can all be done here. You can upload a file here. You can upload links here. As long as you publish it later, then it will appear in the climate transparency platform. So this has been all right now for the demonstration session for content editors. I want to thank you all very much. And again, open the door for questions. If you have any question, if you have any trouble registering, or if you have any trouble accessing some of the data, please feel free to let us know. I'll stop sharing now.
Okay, thank you so much for that elaborate demonstration of how the network editors can walk through. We have a question. I have registered, but my account has not been approved. Yes, your account will be approved very soon. But I can see a hand up. Kindly unmute yourself and speak. Yes, you will.
Okay, sorry. Okay, no, you have answered my question because I'm the one who has posted that have not yet been approved.
Yes,
Yes, we will be approved very soon.
Okay, thank you.
Maleloa, I am approving you as we speak, so you will be able to access it now.
So, do we have any other questions?
Do we have any other questions? Thank you so
much
much for the Menti. I can hear the
echo.
echo. I don't know from where.
Yes,
so I would like to conclude this webinar.
If we do not have any other questions. So as we conclude, I will disturb you again. Tomorrow we have another webinar. I will request that you join. It's already posted on the workspace. Let's make it more interactive and always get in touch for the new topics in the forum for discussion to make the transparency work a little more lighter. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a good evening and thank you for joining to us.
Thank you.